Hey guys, it's Miss Harkins. I want you to go ahead and fold your paper into 4. You're going to go ahead and write your teacher, your name. You're going to write your math teacher's name. Because guess what? You're going to be either turning it into myself, Miss Harkins, Coach Harvey, or Miss May Budgewater. Whatever you're doing in class or in advisory, you're going to be turning it into class. Okay. And we're going to write our keywords in each box. Yes, you have to write your keywords because what happens is a lot of you solve, but you don't necessarily know what the question is asking for. You have to annotate. And I know you know what annotate means because we do it in math class, but we also do it in RLA, in reading. Okay, so if I look at my brain dump, first we have to discuss what is a rate. A rate and a ratio are very similar. There's 2 things that we're comparing. Okay. So when we compare something, we're either going to make a proportion or a ratio table. It says, when you see a percent, what do you know? So when we see a percent, we know that it's out of what number? 100%, right? We also know when we see a percent, most of the time, we're going to be making a proportion or a ratio table. How do you know or how do you solve a proportion problem? Remember, when we have a proportion problem, we can either scale up or scale down. So that means that we can simplify, then answer our question. Or how do you solve a percent problem? Same thing. We're going to simplify and then answer our question. So let's go ahead and get started on our mini lesson. So it says Miss Harkins has a recipe for making gravy. She adds 12 tablespoons of flour to every 48 ounces of chicken stock. So we know that we're going to have 12 tablespoons of flour to 48 ounces of chicken stock. She made gravy with 36 ounces of chicken stock for dinner. How much flour? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write what I know. So I can either make a ratio table or I can make a proportion. So I have my flour here and my chicken stock. I know I have 12 tables of flour. I know I have 48 for chicken stock. I know I have to get to 36 ounces of chicken stock. So remember, I'm going to do chicken stock with chicken stock, flour to flour. Now, I can't get from 48 to 36. But what I could do is I do have a pattern here. I could get from 12 to 48. What can you multiply to 12 to get to 48? I can multiply it by 4, right? So what could you multiply by 4 to get to 36? I can multiply 9. So I need 9 tablespoons of flour. Okay, next problem. Mariah had a flat iron originally priced at $80 on sale for $60. By what percentage was the price reduced? So let's write what we know. So we know that we have Mariah and the original price was $80 and it's on sale for $60. They want to know what percentage and that was reduced. Okay, so when I have words like reduced, and I know that I'm talking about percent, I know that that's going to be percent increase or percent decrease. So my original was 80, my new price was 60. Well, how do I get from 80 to 60? I subtract 20, right? So now I'm going to go ahead and make my proportion. I don't know my percent, but I know percents are out of 100. I'm going to put my change over my original. My original is 80. So now I'm just going to go ahead and solve. Well, I can simplify 20 out of 80. I can take out these zeros. So that gets me 2 8s. Can I simplify 2 8s? Absolutely, I can simplify it by 2 and get 1 out of 4. Can you go from 4 to 100? Yep, I can multiply by 25. So I get 25%. So my answer is A. Okay, teachers, I want you to pause the video. Kids are going to work on their practice problems, and then once you are ready, you can go ahead and go over it with them by playing this video. Layla took her family out to eat to celebrate her report card grades. The total bill was $45.25. She left a 15% tip. How much did Layla pay altogether? Okay, so what do we know? We know that the total was $45.25. We know that it's a 15% tip. And we want to know pay altogether. So we're going to go ahead and make a proportion. We know that's 15%. Percents are over 100. We know the total bill was $45.25. Okay, so let's go ahead and simplify 15 and 100. What can I simplify with 15 and 100? Well, I can simplify it by 5, right? And get 3 out of 20. But I still want to get to 45.25, right? Well, I don't know how to get from 3 to 20 and 20 to 45. So what I could do is multiply these two and divide by 20. So I could do 45.25 times 3. That's 15, 6, 7, 15, carry my 1, 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13. So 135.75, divided that by 20. 20 can't go into 113, but it can go into 135. 6 times, right? subtract, that's 1, 5. Bring down my 7. Okay, 20 can go in 157. 7 times, that's 140. Subtract, that's 1, 7. 20 can go into 175 8 times. And it's going to keep going on and on and on. So I know my tip's going to be about $6.78. Or I could do it this way. This was my proportion. Can multiply that together. Five times 5 is 25, carry my 2. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12, carry my 1. 5 times 5 is 25, plus 1 is 26. 4 times 5 is 20, plus 2 is 22. Placeholder. 5 times 1 is 5. 2 times 1 is 2. 5 times 1 is 5. 4 times 1 is 4. Add that up. 5, 7, 8, 7, 6. And then I can move my, my decimal twice because I have 2 numbers behind my decimal. But then I'm dividing by 100, right? So when I divide by 100, I can still move it twice. 1, 2. So I still get $6.78 as my tip. But they didn't ask just for my tip. They want to know what's all together. So I need to do $6.78 plus my $45.25. And if you notice on your answer choices, they had that as my answer. But they, again, did not just ask for my tip. So 8 plus 5, that's 13, carry my 1. 7 plus 2 is 9, plus 1 is 10, carry my 1. 6 plus 5 is 11, plus 1 is 12, carry my 1. 4 plus 1 is 5. So what is my closest answer? My closest answer is C. Oh, and if I notice, I can go ahead and eliminate B because that was less than what my total bill was. When you add for a tip, it's not a discount, it's an additional. And we can actually write that. Okay. Let's look at number 2. It says, Abram found a great deal on a remote control car at the garage sale. He paid $12 for the car. He took it home, painted it, fixed it up, and sold it online for $30. By what percentage did it increase? The price increase. Remember, when you see that, that's going to mean that we do our percent of change. So let's make our proportion. What do we know? We know that originally it was $12 and then the new price was $30. How do you get from 12 to 30? 18, right? So we know my new is 18, but my original was 12. Yes, I know that my top is bigger than my bottom. It's okay. All right, so now I'm going to simplify this because I can't get from 18 to 12 and I can't get from 12 to 100. So if I simplify it by 2, I get 9 over 6. Could I simplify this again? Absolutely. I can simplify it by 3 and get 3 over 2. Now, can I go from 2 to 100? Yes, I can multiply it by 50 3 times 50 gets me 150. So it'll be 150%. Because, look guys, because I know that my top is bigger than my bottom, I know that it's going to be more than 100%. So I could eliminate C and A right away. So here's B. Okay, let's check your next problems. Notice I had to use more than one piece of scratch paper, and that's okay. Ask your teacher for more scratch paper. She should have it. Or he should have it. I'm going to write my keywords. Okay. Louise rode his bike 45 miles in 2 hours. At this rate, how many miles could he travel in 1.5 hours? So what do we know? We know that it's 45 miles in 2 hours. We're looking for 1/2 hours. We do not know how many miles. Anytime you have at this rate, it always means either a ratio table or a proportion. What two things are we comparing? We're comparing miles and we're comparing hours. So we know we have 45 miles in how many hours? 2, right? But I want to know for 1.5. Or I'm sorry, a half mile. Okay. So, do we know how many miles are in 1 hour? Well, we know, if I look at my answer choices, we know that B cannot be my answer at all because it's way too much. We know that it has to be less than 45. So how do we get from 2 to 1? We can divide by 2. So 45 divided by 2. 2 goes into 4 twice. Subtract, that's 0. Bring down my 5. 2 goes into 5 twice. Subtract, that's 1. Add a decimal and a 0. 2 goes into 10 5 times. So for 1 hour, it's 22.5. But we don't want to know for 1 hour, right? We want to know for half of that. So we know that A cannot be my answer. So we know that, how do you get from 1 to 1/2? Well, you divide by 2. So I'm going to do 22.5 divided by 2. 2 goes into 22, 11 times. Subtract that 0, bring down my 5. 2 goes into 5 twice. 2 goes into 10 5 times. So my answer is 11.25. My answer is C. Okay, next one. Cameron is buying flowers for his mom for her birthday. He has a 25% coupon. If the flowers cost $34, he uses the coupon. How much will he pay before tax? Okay, so he has a 25% coupon off. If flowers cost 34 videos, they want to use a coupon. How much will he pay? That's a proportion, because guess what I have? I have a what? A percent, right? So 25% over 100. How do I get from 25 to 100? Because we do have patterns. I can multiply it by 4, right? So what could you multiply by 4 to get 34? Well, I don't know that on top of my head. So I'm going to go ahead and do some division. 4 can go into 34 8 times. Subtract, that's 2, add a decimal and a 0. 4 goes into 20 5 times. But this is how much the coupon is off. This is my coupon. I'm not done yet. So look at your answer choices. I can go ahead and get rid of B. I can also get rid of D, because this was how much it was off. So I need to do $34 minus $8.50. That's 0. So we make that a 10. In order to make that a 10, I had to borrow from here. So 10 minus 5 is 5. 2. So 13 minus 8 is 5. 2. So my answer is A. Okay, here's your exit ticket, you guys. Again, you should be doing your exit ticket, and we can check it at the end. So teachers, make sure you pause this video. All right, Devaney's little sister was 24 inches long. She was, 1 month later, she was 60 inches long. By what percent did Devaney's sister's length change? So they're asking for the change, right? So that is a proportion because we're looking for a percent. But remember, that's when we talk about our new over our original. So originally we had 24. Our new length was 30. How do you get from 24 to 30? Plus 6, right? So my original was 24. So now let's solve. How do you get from 6 to 24? Times 4, right? So what can you multiply to 4 and get 100? 25. So she changed by 25%. Okay, you guys, you should be working on the quizzes. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you later. Bye.